Hello there everyone, I'm Christina of CSLdesigns and today I have a bit of a mixed haul for you. So I both have some beads and gemstones and materials to show you, but also some things like storage boxes, both of jewellery but also materials. So what I'm going to do as well is put some links down in the description box below to the different places where I got things, because I didn't get everything from the same place. So just in case you want to know where they're from, then I'm going to put the links down there. But otherwise, let's get started. So the first thing I want to show you are some of the beads that I got. So some of them I got for specific projects that I have in mind that I want to do. So I was looking for them, but then others, while I was looking for those specific materials, I then kind of browsed around and then saw some other ones that I really liked. So I kind of added a few of them to my baskets here and there as well. So it's these gem duos or diamond duos. There's a bit of a mix. Some of them are gem duos, some of them are diamond duos, but they're more or less the same anyway. So some of them here are in these little containers, and they also have different finishes. Obviously you can see different colors, but the ones that really stand out to me are these three here. So if I just kind of separate them out, it's a bit of a new finish that I'm aware of for beads, and it's the gem duos in this case. So what they are is actually, just pour a few out here. Obviously they have a color. I'll just pour a few of the other ones out as well to show you the difference in the colors. So I have a red one, and then I have two different kinds of blues. If I can get this one open without it spilling all over. Something like that. And I'll just open the last one as well. Because what it is like I said, I have a red one, and then I have a bit of a lighter blue, and then a darker blue. And I got them because these are actually meant for a specific project. I knew what I was looking for, but then I just saw these and thought I want to use these specific ones. So what you can see is it's gem duos, like I said, but the finish of them is called backlit, and then the red ones are called backlit ruby. The light blue ones are called backlit aquamarine, and then the darker ones there are called backlit sapphire. So just flip some of them around, because then one side you'll find has got silver coating on it and pretty solid, so very opaque. So that's kind of the flat side, what I would call the back of the bead. But then the top side, which is where you have the bit of shape or faceting going on, it has the color. And because you have that silver on the back of it, the color, which is more clear to it, it's not a solid color or opaque. You can see the silver coming through, and just gives it this really nice kind of glow to it, I think. So I really fell for them and thought I have to try and use them, because I've not used this finish before. So just making them in that way just seems like they almost have a bit of a glow to them. You can see from the inside there, and I think it's that silver behind that does that. So I got them, like I said, for a specific project. I think I'm going to be using the blue ones together in that project, but the red ones are also meant for a more a less specific project that I have in mind. Obviously, we'll see if it works out, but I'm hoping to use these ones for a bit of a wrap bracelet that I'm hopefully going to be posting soon a tutorial for, if they work out nicely. So that's these ones here, the backlit finishes. And then I have some other ones. These are black on the flat side, and then you have this kind of AB coating that's quite opaque and solid on the front. And then these ones I just saw, because I kind of, like I said, as I was browsing, these are called Crystal Sunset, and I just take some out of them. Again, they looked really nice online. They are really nice in real life as well. Not quite like I expected them to be, but obviously I still like them and I'm still going to use them. But they also have this kind of solid color a little bit on one side, but then they're clear as well, so they also have a bit of a glow to them. So they did remind me a little bit of a sunset, which obviously then, hence the name as well. So they are really nice, maybe a bit more summery. But then also I got some silver ones. These ones are actually called bronze aluminium, but obviously it's a silver finish and a bit matte to it. But the reason I got them was because I saw these ones here, and I wanted to have the silver ones to go with them. I saw these copper ones in the diamond duos, and I do have a weakness for bright copper like this. Is one of my favorite things apart from silver as well, and I really love combining copper and silver together. So that's why I thought I really want to get these, but then I felt like I kind of wanted to get the silver to go with it. Obviously if I want to combine them, I haven't thought of a specific project for these, but I just thought it would be really nice to kind of have them in my stash. So these were the gem duos and diamond duos that I got. And then the next few beads that I got here were some different mini duos. So again, I was looking for certain colours of mini duos because I kind of have a bit of a project in mind or something I want to try and do. And what I thought of was doing something with poinsettias. So obviously the flower, the Christmas flower. So what I was looking for was the red and the green colour. And mini duos that aren't available, that I find anyway, in as many colours as regular super duos. So it's a bit harder to find the colour that you want if it's a bit more of a not normal colour. So first I found these ones here. And obviously you can see the green and the red. And the way they looked, they kind of seemed like they would match what I wanted. But then when they arrived, the white one is fine. That's just a chalk white luster. So that's fine, you can use that for anything. But they didn't quite live up to how I expected them to be, these two here. So I thought this was a bit brighter, and also this was a bit stronger in the colour because they look like that online. But they're still fine, I can still use them for something, but probably just not for that. But then I found these ones, which are probably more like what I was looking for. So a much brighter red and then a brighter green, because that's what I think of when I think of poinsettias. That kind of flower, that's the colours in my mind that you need for that. So obviously, see if I can work something out with that I had in mind. And then while I was browsing for some of these things, like I said, I found a few other things that I then added to my baskets. These were some of that. So what these are, they're metal spacer beads, or metal seed beads rather. But I hadn't really seen something like this before. I do love metal spacer beads, I use them a lot, usually in silver and copper. But these are actually purple. So obviously they've been coated with like a purple colour, and they're in two different sizes, but they are actually metal seed beads or spacer beads. So I thought I wanted to add them because purple is my favourite colour, and it's a really quite nice bright and a bit deep purple, so that's a lovely colour purple that I like. But also because I like using metal seed beads or metal spacer beads, but I'm used to only using them in silver and copper. I thought it'd be quite a nice change to try and see how it would be working with them coloured in a different way. So I'm quite curious about using these. So next here are some of the gemstone strands that I got, and they look like this. So they're pretty basic ones, most of them. I always like getting, I have a certain place that is one of my favourite places to shop when I go back home, and I always like getting certain things from there, stock up on a few things, and especially these. So black gemstones in different sizes, and also the white ones here. I really like to have them in my stash, make sure that I have them all the time in the different sizes, so all the way from small 3 or 4 millimeter ones to 10, 12 millimeter ones, just because I find them really handy to always have in my stash in case I need them, or in case they go with something else, because obviously the black and white will always go with anything. But then this time also I saw this strand here, which I thought was really nice looking. So obviously it's a pink, bit of a muted pink gemstone, but I really like the look of that. And my thought with that was, because of the shape, I've had a bit of an idea. I wanted to do kind of like some butterfly or dragonflies, maybe macrame, or maybe in wirework at some point. And I wanted kind of a shape like this in a stone or a bead to be the body, and then you can obviously make the wings with either macrame or wirework or something else. So that was my thought with these, to kind of use these as the body of either the butterfly or the dragonfly, and you can make the wings around them. So those are some of the strands that I just stocked up a bit on. So from the same place I also got some rose beads here, or so I thought, because what I've had in my mind for a while is an idea for a design using rose beads like this. And it's mainly macrame, a few different variations I think, of like a bracelet. But then I saw these and I thought I might as well get some, because just so I have some more, but also it's always nice to have them in these neutral colours. So these ones are larger ones, and you've got holes going through, and they're quite nice looking, and pretty even as well. But then these ones here, I thought it'd be nice to have some smaller ones, but it turns out I got home and these ones don't have any holes in them. I can't find them anyway. So obviously these aren't quite beads, they're probably just meant to then use to glue onto things, but I was kind of looking for beads, but I'm sure I can figure something out to use them for. So those are just a few rose beads that I added to my collection as well. And while I was there, I also just stocked up on some more jump rings, because that is my favourite place to get jump rings from. I find them really good quality and they're really strong. I never have any problems with my jump rings, so I always like to stock up from there. So this time around I got some 5 and 6 millimeter jump rings, because I still have a lot. I just want to make sure that these are the sizes I use the most, and especially the 5 millimeter ones. They're by far my favourite size of jump rings that I use for most of my pieces. So I just stocked up on a few more of those, so hopefully that should last me a while. And then the final gemstones that I got from there was a new thing that I discovered that they had this time around, and I was immediately attracted to it and thought I have to have some of them, or as many as I can of them. And it's these little tiny cabochins here in different gemstones. So let me just let them down here. So what we have is there's obviously different shapes in the different ones, but there's rose quartz like that, and they are pretty small, so little tiny cabochins. These are just round. Then there's also malachite. They're oval, again quite tiny, obviously compared to your regular size 2, 3, 4 centimeter cabochins. And then there's also some rainbow moonstone, and I was standing quite a while looking through them all because I had a fair few, just picking out the ones I wanted. So obviously they have beautiful shimmer in them. Shimmer there, you have the blue effect. So I really looked through quite a lot to pick out the specific ones that I wanted. Like that. Then there's also some amethyst ones that are beautifully faceted and very clean. Again, would be beautiful on a ring. And then we have labradorite ones. Again, some of them are rounded, oval shape, but they're kind of rounded off, but then some of them are faceted as well. Again, just beautiful shiller like that. And the different ones, again, these ones I also spent quite a lot of time looking through to find just the right ones that I wanted. And also a couple of different colours. But this one has got more of an orangey and browny shiller to it, whereas most of the others have got the blue or a bit of the green hint. That one's really beautiful as well. So what I'm kind of imagining for these is obviously the obvious thing would be, say, rings, maybe like wirework rings, a bit prong set or something else, incorporating them into capturing them in some way, because I have been wanting to do that for a while, using really small cabochins to then capture them in, say, rings or maybe earrings or something else, because it's quite different obviously than working with the larger cabochins. You kind of have to capture them in a different way, but they're also far more delicate. And then I was just really impressed with how the quality of these, and the shiller, and especially the rainbow moonstone and the labradorite, so I can't wait to use these in some projects. So from the same place I then also got myself some more small Kumihimo Disk, the round ones. I already have a few, but I just added another 6 to my stash just because they do get used. So obviously when you use them for a while you kind of need to sometimes take a new one. So I just want to make sure I don't run out. Now I mostly do use the regular ones, so the larger ones on these, but I actually do want to start using the smaller ones more, because obviously using these you end up with less waste, whether it's cord or wire, because you have less distance for it to travel there that you then won't be able to braid with. So that's why I do want to start using the small ones here more. So like I mentioned before, I got some more rose beads as well, because I have some projects in mind that I want to do. So these ones here I all got from eBay. So I just found them with different sellers, and they look like this. So as you can see, they're quite different. So I did want to get some different ones just because obviously I have an idea, but I'm not 100% sure how it's going to work out until I do it and I make it. So I want to make sure, in case, say, a certain size doesn't work out, it's too large or too small, then I have something else to experiment with instead. So these are larger ones. They are quite large. It's probably not going to be these that I use, but they can still be used for something obviously, so I'm definitely going to have them for the future. They are quite nice though, I think. They have a nice shape. And they're also like nicely finished, it's not rough bits or anything. And different colours of these ones. And then this is kind of one style, and these ones here are just all the same colour. But again quite large, but you can see they have a completely different look to them. So the actual style of the roses is completely different. And I do also really like this one, but I also like that one. So it's quite nice as well, having the different styles. So that's those two. Those ones, like I said, I probably won't be using, not for the original project that I thought of anyway, whereas these are going to fit much better. So what they are, again, the rose beads, and they're smaller ones, and also again slightly different and more rose-like colours, you could say, as well. So there's, again, these are larger ones compared to the other ones, but they're smaller than obviously the ones I just showed you. Again, these are quite nice as well, a bit more, obviously not fully realistic looking, but a bit more kind of life to them in a way, because the shape is quite nice. And these are the same but just smaller version, and they're the darker red. And then I have ones here that are pretty similar to them, but then just a bit more of a fuchsia pink. And then here the smaller ones, I did think in the picture that these were actually going to be the same colour as that, so I don't know if I was sent the wrong ones or the picture just weren't really true to colour. But again, these are just meant to be the smaller version of that. They don't really go, I think, these colours, but again, like I said, I'm sure they can be used for something. So these are the other rose beads that I got, like I said, from eBay. Just some different sellers that I found. And then I can't wait to experiment with that design that I have in my head. I'm hoping it'll probably work out well or something for Valentine's, so we'll see how that works out. So these are the first storage boxes that I got. Now they come wrapped in this plastic packaging, and they are marketed as craft storage boxes, for obviously I just use them for my jewelry making supplies. And then I'm just going to unwrap one of them to show you what they look like. And this is then what it looks like. So if I just take the other one away, we can just look at this one. So it comes with these 3 layers here, and you can separate them by opening up the side snaps there. You can see they have these rooms inside, and what you can actually do is take all of these little walls out if you want to. You can either keep them this size rooms, or you can make them larger if you, depending obviously what you want to store in them. And all the layers just separate in the same way. So also, by having layers like this, you can always get multiples and actually put more layers into the same here, because then you just have that one lid. Or you can just have 2 layers if you want to. That's a complete personal preference. And like I said, you have the lid on the top, where you then also have a handle. Now personally, I like to try and avoid grabbing them by the handle, especially the heavier ones, because I have had an accident once. I have one where I have jump rings in, and I kind of, because obviously if you don't snap these on properly, they can come apart by just grabbing the handle. So for a bit on the heavier side, I usually prefer to just grab them like this. But that's these boxes here that I really do like to use. Now I already have some of these already, so I actually have 4 to begin with, but I wanted some more because they're kind of getting a little bit overcrowded, the ones I have. How I like to use these is because they're smaller size boxes, so they're easier just to grab if you need them, is I kind of like to organize them so one has a certain kind of thing. So like I mentioned, I have one that's all jump rings, but then I use each compartment there for different sizes, and then obviously the layers as well. Then I have one, say, for Kumihimo ends and ribbon ends as well, and also separate it into sizes and then colors as well, both the silver and copper. So that's what I use them for the most. I really like them for that because I feel like I can really keep control over it. But like I said, the ones I have, they're getting a little overcrowded, so I kind of felt like I needed some more just so I can start organizing it a little bit better, and it won't get so kind of disorganized when I use them. So these are then some other storage boxes that I got. Now the principle of these are the exact same as the ones I just showed you. You can see there's 3 layers, and they have that snap function on the side to open and close them, and also that handle on the top, so you have that lid. And again, you can easily add more or take some away depending how many layers that you want, as long as then you obviously have the lid on the top. So again, just to show you one here inside, also same principle. I just take the lid off, and then you can see different rooms are separated into. And again, you can adjust these, taking ones out, and then you have all the extra ones down here. So that's how you can separate them. Obviously you can see there's a lot more rooms in these because they are quite a bit larger. But I really like using these as well, because I actually already have 3 of them, and I just wanted some more because I was pretty well organized with them, but it's the same problem that I had with the other ones that I showed you before. Obviously they were somewhat organized, but because you're adding more stuff to it, I'm kind of ending up with nowhere to put it, so you end up just kind of putting them into somewhere where there's some space, and then it ends up being not organized. So that's why I kind of felt like I wanted some more. So at some point soon I'm going to take out some time to then actually reorganize all my materials, because what I would prefer to do then, what I do now, and I want to do even more so, is use these mainly for gemstone strands and cabouchins and things like that, whereas the smaller ones, like I said, it's more for findings. I use them. So as you can see, this one here is pretty full already, but this is really just temporary because all this stuff is also some newer stuff that I've got more recently. I just haven't put it into my stash properly yet, because I thought there's no point in kind of doing that and then reorganizing all of it again shortly after. So I've just been waiting, and it's just kind of to get it out of the way so it's not in my way, but still I can access it if I need to. So I'm hoping that quite soon I'm going to then be able to reorganize my whole stash and all my materials. Because I'm definitely the kind of person that needs to have my materials more organized. And the problem I have is it's kind of getting to the point where I'm struggling to remember where certain things are, because I've kind of gotten to that point where I'm just putting things in where there's space. So that's why I thought I really need to reorganize it all with some new storage. So the next storage boxes I got are some new ones for me. So I don't have any of these already. It was the first time I really saw them there. So I thought I'll just try and get them because they look quite nice and useful. And also I do like to try and look for certain things sometimes. Like quite often when you get the storage boxes, where the compartments meet the lid isn't flush. So if you have small little things, it can kind of roll over into other compartments. Obviously if you kind of move the box around. And I had a look at this and it looks like it's pretty flush. Obviously I've not tested it yet, but it looks like it's made to be pretty flush with the lid. So I thought that'd be really useful either for if you have some small loose beads or small findings. And then compartments come out like this. Again, so you can make the rooms larger if you need to. But I think it's quite nice to also have some of the quite small rooms, because sometimes you just have a little bit left of something. And you just want to obviously not waste too much space in a room. So I got these, like I said, new ones. And I also like the fact that, I can close that one again, they're just one layer and they're pretty flat. So they're a little bit sometimes easier to store than say the ones that have the 3 layers. And then I actually just noticed there's a little thing on the side. Looks like you can actually use that to hang it up if you want to. But I've just unpacked them so I didn't see that. But I probably won't be doing that anyway. I'll just use them and kind of stack them on each other like that. So the final 2 storage boxes I got were these 2 little tins. They look like that. And they simply just come off like that. And what I quite like is that they have that little plastic at the front, so you can actually see what's inside. Now I wasn't really specifically looking for these, but I was kind of looking for something where I could store my beading needles, because right now I store some of my needles in these packs that they come in, and it's fine to store them in, but it gets quite annoying when you want to just get one needle out and having to open the packs and then close it back up when you're done. And then other ones are taken out because I got a pack where there's quite a few needles in just a little piece of paper, because I thought it makes more sense kind of buying a lot at the same time for a lot cheaper. And this is an old beading tub or tube that I have that's obviously empty, that I emptied. So I thought it'd be a good idea to put them in there. And it's fine, except for the fact that the tube is just like a millimeter too short. So basically when I put the lid in, it just pushes all the needles down. So it's literally just a little bit too small. So obviously that's why I ideally then thought I want to try and find something where I can keep all my needles in for a little bit much easier access actually. And that's why I saw these tins and I thought I'll just give them a try and see how I get on with it. So the final storage boxes I got are these 3 here. Now they're not storage boxes for materials, at least that's not what I'm going to use them for, but for actual finished pieces of jewellery. So I already have 3 of these as well, and just recently I organised all my finished pieces of jewellery to kind of get it a lot more organised than it was, because it was getting a bit of a mess before, and I used these boxes. So what I then discovered is they're not full or anything, but I kind of discovered that I want some more but in different compartments, because ones I have, they're separated into different size rooms, and I've realised that I wanted some more in some different size ones. So I have one for rings already, and then I have 2 that actually have rooms in them but different sizes. So what I realised that I wanted, just open them here at the front, little latches, was one that didn't have any rooms at all, but basically just one large one, in case you have like one large or a couple large pieces of jewellery that obviously won't fit into one of the rooms. So that's one of them. And then I wanted one that had kind of fairly large size rooms, but obviously not just the one big one. Just open that up. So they are that size, so you have 9 rooms in this one. And then the last one, it's got quite smaller ones than the other ones that I have already as well. As you can see, that's much better for kind of a lot more smaller things and also things you have a lot of. So these are all, like I said, the same boxes that I already have, but just with different rooms and separate it out differently. So I'm definitely going to put these in use as well. Like I said, I've already organised all my jewellery, but there's still a few pieces that can go into some of these. So I'm looking forward to getting completely organised with that, and then obviously also it's going to leave me more room to add more without having to then get disorganised again. So I just wanted to show you the ones I already have and how I use them. So as you can see, I store them on these shelves here with a lot of space, so they're easy for me to just open up the lid and then grab what I want and then just close it back without having to move too many boxes around, because that would annoy me. So the top one here is the one I use for rings, and I've made that the most easily accessible because rings I use by far the most. So I can easily just open this, grab the ring I want for that day, put it on and then close it again. So as you can see, I have still a fair bit of space left, but I will probably want another one of these for rings in the near future, just obviously so I don't run out of space at some point, because like I said, rings are my favourite things that I wear pretty much all the time. And then I have the one down here. Now this one is more medium-sized compartments that I use, and in here I put mostly just necklaces and brooches and that. There's a pair of earrings, but that's because I didn't really know where else to put them just yet. So that's what it looks like. You can see just a load of necklaces there rolled up. So they're kind of medium-sized compartments in this one. That's why I did want one that had larger ones but also was smaller. So this one is still nice and easy to get into, just with necklaces and brooches mainly. And then the last one over here, it has 15 compartments. Just open it up. And it looks like this. So this is really just a mix of things that I didn't really know where else to put. So I have both necklaces, earrings, and rings as well. I have 2 rings there, and that's purely just because they didn't actually fit in the other one. They were either too wide or too high. And some ear cuffs as well. So that's what that one looks like. So really this is kind of mainly for things that I didn't really know where else to put. But again, some of them so small that I didn't want to put them and kind of waste space in a large one. So that's the last one. And that was awesome, I thought, with one of the new ones I got. The one with the smallest compartments. I thought that would be good for things that I didn't really know where else to put. But again, if it's quite small, I don't want to take up a large compartment in something else. So that was then my haul for this time around. So a few more different things, not just gemstones and beads, but also some storage involved. So I really hope you enjoyed it. Now I'm going to be posting a video soon, a bit of an update video, and also where I need a bit of feedback from you. So keep an eye out for that. Otherwise, I really hope you enjoyed this one here, and thank you very much for watching.